Welcome back to the Bitcoin Zodiac. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Happy full moon in Capricorn, our second full moon in Capricorn for 2024. And it's going to be a really beautiful, transformative full moon. So it's exciting. I mean, this last couple of weeks has been pretty hectic on the world stage. This season of The Real Politicians of DC simulation is really ramped up in the last couple of weeks. And it really feels like we've hit new levels of crazy. So we've gone from like OC Housewives level of crazy straight to like New Jersey crazy in a very short space of time. But if you've watched the Bitcoin Zodiac for a while, you will know that I'm not a huge lover of politics. I'm pretty cynical about politics. I do not love the divisiveness that it brings. And I do sort of believe that whether you're on the red team or the blue team, these are both different expressions of two sides of a pretty grimy same coin, basically. So that's why I make jokes about politics, but there's a lot of stuff in politics this last couple of weeks that has not been a joke. I mean, starting from the debates, which were just before our last episode, I thought that was pretty wild. And obviously, since then, we've had an attempted assassination of a presidential candidate. And sadly, a man lost his life protecting his family during that time. And then more recently, we've had, every computer system running on Windows logging into a blue screen. So, including essential services, hospitals and transport services, airports, trains, traffic lights, all of these things have been affected. So, it's been a lot. It's really been a lot. And last episode, we did talk about this Mars-Uranus conjunction and in Taurus, and how it wasn't a particularly favorable aspect. But I said in the last episode, I was more looking to the Fed to see what they were kind of, had on the cards for us. I really didn't have on my bingo card for that day that there would be an attempted assassination of Donald Trump. During that last episode, when we were talking about Bitcoin, I did sort of touch on the fact that when we see these sort of macro aspects, it's interesting to see how Bitcoin plays out through them, because sometimes if it's an unfavorable aspect for the rest of the world or for the traditional markets, sometimes Bitcoin, it can actually be really good for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did have a bit of a pump after this horrible event. And I mean, some of the conversations around it, I had to stay off Twitter this week because it was just so gross. I don't particularly like either Trump or Biden, but I certainly don't wish to see either one of them assassinated. And I think, anyone that is calling for people to be assassinated, I mean, it's just kind of gross, honestly. So I didn't enjoy that. So I just stayed off Twitter this week. But Bitcoin did have a bit of a run up after that event. And I think in times like that, in times of uncertainty, it's interesting to see how Bitcoin performs, because sometimes is Bitcoin seen as a speculative asset, a risk-on asset? And in that case, in times of uncertainty and chaos, everybody leaves the market and gets scared and dumps everything, Bitcoin included? Or is Bitcoin now being seen as a safe haven asset? And in times of uncertainty, it's the way that I see it is that it's a safe haven asset and it's the best asset to be in. So yeah, it's interesting to see how that goes. But let's get stuck into what we have coming up. So I want to give a bit of context of some of the you know, kind of crazy things that we're seeing on the world stage at the moment. Sadly, I don't think that this is going to be the craziest thing that we see this year. We have spoken about it many times on the podcast that this is an election year and, you know, wild things happen. So, but I think it really helps to sort of zoom out and have a look at the broader context for these events to gain some clarity. And I think it's really helpful. You know, everything really works in cycles. Astrology works in cycles, nature works in cycles, the business cycle works in a cycle. And we're cyclical beings as well. So I think it really helps to understand cycles in our own lives and sort of macro cycles to be able to understand where we are rather than trying to fight and wish that we were somewhere else. So it's like trying to be a bull in a bear market. It just doesn't work. It doesn't make you into a bull, you know, it doesn't push you into a bull market. It just makes you miss the opportunities that are there for you in the bear market. So I want to look at a really interesting concept called the Four Turnings. And it's from a book called The Fourth Turning, An American Prophecy. So I'm going to be looking at it in the context of the United States. As annoying as it is, you know, the United States is the dominant superpower, and what affects them affects everyone. And that's just the reality of the world that we live in. And it's also more looking at the United States as an empire rather than Americans as people. So, but obviously the patterns of behavior of Americans is affected by these larger cycles. So this concept of the fourth turning is from the book, The Fourth Turning, An American Prophecy by William Strauss and Neil Howe. So it's part of a generational theory that describes a reoccurring cycle of four generational archetypes and corresponding societal turnings. So each turning lasts approximately 20 years to 25 years and collectively span the length of a long human life, so around 80 to 90 years. So the first part of this, the first turning, is the high, and it's like a really expansive phase. And it's a period of very strong institutions and weak individualism. So society is very confident about where it wants to go collectively. But in this period of time, if you fall outside of the kind of majority, you could feel stifled by the conformity. It's really a time of conformity. And so an example of this is post-World War II, which is the American high, and that's from about 1946 to 1964. And then the second turning is the awakening. And this is a period of spiritual upheaval when the civic order comes under attack from a new values regime. So this is a time of social and cultural renewal. And so this is like the consciousness revolution of the 60s. So from about 1964 to 1984. And then you have the third turning, which is called the unraveling. And this is the period where institutions become weak and distrusted, and individualism starts to become stronger and is sort of flourishing during this time. So society tends to fragment into like polarizing values and interests. And this period of time was called the Culture Wars, and that was from about 1984, ending in around 2008. And then the fourth turning is called the Crisis, and it's a decisive era of spectacular upheaval when the values regime propels the replacement of the old civic order with a new one. And so this period typically involves a major crisis that redefines the social and political landscape. So previously, the previous fourth turning would have been defined as the Great Depression, and then the World War II would have been classed as the crisis. So that was from 1929 to 1946. And we're currently in the fourth turning right now. We're currently in the crisis. And so I think that this sort of provides some context as to what we're sort of seeing. Is I think that America can definitely, and the rest of the world can identify, like, there's something wrong here. Like, that we're in crisis. Things are breaking. Things are not working the way that they used to work, and something needs to change. And so if we break it down even further, the phases of the fourth turning, we have the first phase, which is the catalyst phase, and that started in 2008. And so this phase is marked by a triggering event or series of events that ignite the larger crisis. So this sets the stage for the unfolding drama of what is to come for the rest of the fourth turning. And we all know what that was in 2008, the global financial crisis. And that really set the stage. It really shifted things. It was the introduction of QE, and money printing and manipulation of money. And it's really where we started to lose the integrity in our money and in our financial system. And this has really been a catalyst for a lot of other things that we have seen bubbling to the surface in more recent years. So then we have the regeneracy phase, which is ongoing from the initial catalyst from 2008, and then really heightening towards 2014 and to 2020. And during this phase, society begins to regenerate its core institutions. So there's an increasing sense of urgency and collective effort to address the crisis. So political and social cohesion starts to form as communities unite to tackle the challenges. And so we can see this, for me, this really made what we're witnessing make sense, because obviously during that time was President Trump's first term in office in 2016. And, this was really when the sort of division in America, people grouping together, really sort of started, I guess. And I think it was in response to the realization that, hang on a second, we're in crisis, things are not working, and we need something to change it. And people always look for a political savior. I personally think that that's not what we need. It's not reality. Like, no one is going to save anybody. But I think that that's where that is birthed from. And then obviously we had Biden come in 2020. And so after then we kind of come through and into the climax phase, which is predicted to occur in the late 2020s. So this, interestingly enough, also lines up with the 18.6-year astrological cycle. From a financial perspective, we have spoken on previous podcasts about seeing the beginning of a downturn from about 2026 going all the way through to 2030. And so the climax is the point of maximum conflict and tension. So it can involve a significant upheaval and transformation. And this is the most intense phase, and I think we can all feel it. Often includes war, revolution, and major institutional changes. So the outcome is highly uncertain, and it can determine the direction of the society for decades to come. So we then have the resolution phase, which is expected to be around the early to mid 2030s. So we have a crisis towards the end of the 2020s. And then on the other side, we start to have a resolution phase. And the resolution phase sees the culmination of the crisis and the beginning of the new societal order. So these new institutions are solidified and a new sense of identity and purpose is established. And this sets the foundation for the next first turning, which is the new high and the new period of growth and expansion. And so I find these really interesting because I'm not really sure, obviously things are heightened all over the world right now, lots of elections happening and the US election, and it always feels like people are looking, they think Donald Trump is going to save them. And the thing is I don't really think that we can outpace or outrun these cycles. I think that we were better accepting what is within them, the gifts that are within them, and moving through them with that kind of like intentionality, instead of sort of going, oh, I want to go back to America in the 50s. You know, that is coming again. I mean, one of the greatest gifts and lessons of, you know, the understanding of a cyclical being, or any cycle, is really that, you know what, no matter how hard things are, how crazy things are, nothing lasts forever. This too shall pass. And also, when times are really great, it's also that awareness of this isn't going to last forever. This too shall pass. And so we need to have that awareness of the cycles and where we're at. And I think that that sort of sets the tone of where we're going with this full moon in Capricorn. So full moon in Capricorn, from a personal perspective, I do see it as a moment of closure and reflection. So it's the second full moon in Capricorn at the end of Cancer season. It really offers us a powerful moment of closure. So it provides like a reflective space to process the myriad of emotions stirred up during this period and really convert them into intuitively aligned actions as we transition away from Cancer season. So really taking those gifts of Cancer season. I know that I've had a lot of things come up in this Cancer season, which has stirred up a lot of emotions, but have really given a lot of clarity as well. Some things have really shocked me. Some things have really saddened me. Some things have made me really angry, but all of these things are really gifts. And so this full moon is really asking you to process all of that and, you know, convert those lessons and those gifts into intuitively aligned actions as we move out of the season and into Leo season. So Capricorn is an earth sign ruled by Saturn and associated with structure, discipline, and responsibility, and also really around a focus on long-term goals. So a full moon in Capricorn highlights the themes of career, ambition, and societal roles, and encourages a focus on building solid foundations and achieving tangible results. So the full moon in Capricorn on July 21st is at 29 degrees, and it's significant due to its critical degree. The 29th degree of any sign is known as the anaretic or critical degree. So it's often signifying urgency, a culmination, and it really symbolizes karma, fate, and endings. And so this degree really amplifies the intensity of this full moon. So expect it to be intense, but also indicating a pivotal moment where decisions and actions have lasting consequences. So full moons are always the times of culmination in the cycle and also illumination and revelation. So this is a period to see the results of the efforts made. So especially relevant to all of the Capricorn themes of ambition, power, material success, professional achievements, authority, and discipline. So you want to take this time to like look back and, you know, see how far you've come and see what you've achieved so far. This full moon brings the clarity needed to decide what to continue working with and what to release. So this illumination really serves as this guiding light for the rest of the year. So it's very useful to revisit the intentions that you set during the new moon in Capricorn at the beginning of the year and really reflect on the journey since then and adjust your course for the next 6 months. So get rid of anything that is unnecessary, that you don't need, that's no longer aligned, and really start to focus on what the next 6 months looks like for you. So think of this full moon as a new starting point. It's also the end. We'll talk about this a bit more when we talk about Bitcoin, but it's also the end of this cycle that really started in 2008. So it's the end of a 16-year cycle. So it really is a new starting point, and it really helps to say goodbye to energies and emotions that you no longer want to carry, while envisioning the potential of the future. So this is a time to dismantle and just get rid of all distractions and limitations and anything holding you back, and really use this energy to rebuild and reach your highest potential. So we don't want to leave Cancer season without acknowledging and taking with us the lessons of Cancer season, especially if it's been a very hard, like, emotional time for you. Sometimes we just want to get through it. We want to get it done, but you really want to glean those lessons from Cancer season. It's brought up a lot of emotions, insights, and revelations. And our emotions are just really powerful sources of information, but they also require a sturdy foundation to be able to be understood. So grounding your emotions prevents them from becoming too overwhelming, or for you to drown in them or get lost in them, or give them too much authority over your life. You don't want to be entirely led by your emotions. So you want to ground these emotions, and this full moon really offers you the opportunity to do that, to regulate your nervous system, to just take a deep breath and really process the emotions stirred up by Cancer energy. So really, to align with Capricorn's grounding energy is the key for this full moon. So Capricorn's influence reminds you of your self-reliance and and the trust that you should place in your intuition. So balance is really key, and it's a very key theme for this full moon. So your energy needs care and rest and nurturing and grounding. But the real theme for this full moon is really about embracing your power. So every experience in your life holds the keys to your power, no matter whether they were uncomfortable or whether they were really fun and really enjoyable. They all hold the key to your power. So every emotion and event is a pathway to your power. So connect with your power this full moon, knowing that it has been with you through everything that you've experienced. And really, you're the only person that really understands what you've been through. And but your energy and your power has been with you through everything that you've experienced in this lifetime and previous lifetimes. Your power is yours, and it's capable of creating. So this full moon, really own it and do the work you needed to embody it in every experience. So the energy of this full moon is we're really being urged to recognize our inner power, which has been forged through struggles and hardships. So recognize and integrate the lessons from past challenges to move forward and through things really powerfully. So how does this affect Bitcoin? So again, this full moon occurs at the critical degree, and that really signifies culmination, endings, and significant turning points. So Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, governs structures, discipline, long-term goals, and material success. And in financial astrology, this full moon highlights the themes of stability, ambition, and financial achievement. So all of this is happening in Bitcoin's 6th house. And so if Bitcoin was a company, it would be the way that Bitcoin does business and the way that Bitcoin manages employees. So Bitcoin's not a centralized company. So it's really a question of the way that Bitcoin does business. And so that's definitely a theme through this full moon. So the 29th degree, as I said, of any sign is known as the anaretic degree, which often brings matters to a head, focusing on decisions and closures. So this degree in Capricorn can signal significant changes or the culmination of financial trends, particularly those related to long-term investments and institutional structures. So Capricorn's focus on ambition, discipline, and structure suggests that the full moon will bring a reevaluation of financial strategies and goals. This full moon's illumination can also bring hidden financial issues to light, sudden revelations, or data releases. So given Capricorn's association with institutional power, there may well be some significant announcements or decisions from financial institutions, regulatory bodies, or governments. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that. So you may see some regulatory developments. Capricorn's link to structure and regulation suggests that there could be important regulatory announcements affecting Bitcoin. And this could range from new regulations or enforcement actions that impact market stability. So really for Bitcoin, the flavor of this new moon is to embrace the introspective energy of the full moon, to reassess our goals, to secure our investments and prepare for the opportunities and challenges ahead. So we also have Saturn's retrograde influencing. And as the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn's position and aspects are critical. So Saturn in Pisces could really bring a compassionate and intuitive approach to a typically kind of like rigid Capricorn energy. And it also suggests a need for structure in creative and spiritual areas of your life. So Saturn has been in retrograde since the first full moon in Capricorn. So we've had this really interesting energy where we've had Cancer season and Cancer new moon sort of bookended with 2 Capricorn full moons. And so Saturn has been in retrograde since the first full moon in Capricorn. And retrogrades really turn the planet's energy inward, so helping us identify commitments that resonate with our soul and energetic evolution. So really feel Saturn's energy. And sometimes Saturn's the rules, like it's the structure and the lessons, but really sort of lean into that energy, guiding you to decide which commitments to make for your future self. So determine what to embrace and what to release, and to disconnect from any distracting energy and align with your desired feelings. So we also have Venus in Leo, and Venus is the planet of love, beauty, money, and value, and it enters the vibrant and bold sign of Leo. So in financial astrology, Venus influences our values, our spending habits, and our investment choices. So Leo is a fire sign ruled by the sun, and it's associated with creativity and self-expression and grandeur. And Venus governs financial matters, including income, investments, and spending. So it also reflects our values and what we find attractive and desirable in the material world. And this sign is known for its confidence and a deep desire, a deep need for recognition. Like if you know Leos, if you have any Leos in your life, you know that they really crave that recognition, like much more than any other sign, really. They need that constant recognition. So Venus in Leo can boost market confidence, leading to increased optimism. The flamboyant energy of Leo can enhance market sentiment, potentially driving up prices and encouraging speculative investments. So the tech and entertainment sectors particularly, which are known for their creativity and bold moves, could see increased interest and investment, and public interest and adoption. So we also can expect with Venus in Leo to see more mainstream attention. So a characteristic of Leo's need for recognition and association with visibility can bring Bitcoin into the mainstream spotlight. So possibly increased media coverage and public interest might affect prices positively. We also may see some celebrity endorsements or some statements from celebrities and influential figures. So Venus in Leo really encourages investment in technological innovations. So blockchain projects, Bitcoin, and that have strong technological foundations may also attract more interest and more investors. Venus in Leo brings a period of increased confidence, creativity, and boldness to the financial markets. So this transit can boost market sentiment and increase interest in luxury goods and technological innovation. So for Bitcoin, this means the potential for heightened public interest. We also have Mercury in Leo. And, Mercury is the planet of communication, of intellect and commerce. And transits through Leo bring dynamic and expressive energy to the financial markets and can really significantly influence trading behavior, market sentiment, and the price of Bitcoin. So Mercury in Leo enhances bold and expressive communication. So this can lead to influential speeches, announcements, and public communication that capture the attention and sway public opinion. So I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on some rumors that have been going around about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin conference this month. So we will talk about that shortly. And also innovative ideas, like Leo's creative energy encourages like innovative thinking and problem solving. And this can lead to new financial strategies, investment products, and, marketing approaches. So again, we have this impact of public figures and influencers, and the influence of prominent public figures and influencers may be heightened. So their statements and actions can significantly impact the market sentiment and investor behavior during this time. So overall, though, this is, a positive influence. The confident and optimistic energy of Mercury and Leo can boost investor sentiment towards Bitcoin and can lead to increased buying opportunity and upward price movement. So I'm seeing this full moon period as a period of time that is quite positive for Bitcoin. And I'm expecting to see a local bottom during this 3-day window. And we'll see where we go from there. So we can also expect to see innovative developments. Like Mercury in Leo also encourages innovation and technological advancements within the Bitcoin space. So it'll be interesting to see what new sort of things are announced. The Bitcoin conference is usually a time when, big announcements are made, countries adopting Bitcoin, and new technologies, new things being built on Bitcoin, new ways to make Bitcoin more user-friendly and things like that. Lots of different things usually happen around the Bitcoin conference. So Mercury in Leo brings this dynamic and creative energy to the financial markets, and it does encourage bold investments, innovative thinking, and influential communication. That's really key, influential communication. So for Bitcoin, the positive market sentiment and influence of public figures can drive interest and investment. So we also have the full moon in Capricorn conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. So from a personal point of view, this is really a portal for healing. So Pluto's proximity to the full moon like really adds an element of transformation and deep emotional intensity. So this full moon in Capricorn near Pluto and Aquarius really opens up a healing portal. So Pluto, being the planet of transformation, highlights the interconnectedness of experiences across lifetimes. So this full moon expands your consciousness and really urges you to consider the long-lasting impact of your actions. So this signifies the end of a transformative era with a move towards rebuilding under Pluto and Aquarius, focusing on humanity and also your individual well-being and contributing to the collective well-being. So it's a really transformative new moon, full moon. And for Bitcoin, again, Pluto represents transformation, power, and deep, deep change. So in Aquarius, the sign known for innovation, progress, and collective consciousness, Pluto's energy brings us transformative shifts in societal structures, technology, and financial systems. So we have spoken extensively on this podcast about Pluto and Aquarius, but it's really interesting how it's sort of playing out now. And we can also expect like almost revolutionary, like it has this revolutionary energy to it. And so Aquarius's influence encourages breaking away from outdated systems, embracing forward-thinking approaches. So this can lead to significant changes in how we perceive and handle financial matters, like in the world on a global scale. So the conjunction of the full moon in Capricorn and Pluto in Aquarius really amplifies this transformative energy. And this aspect can bring like intense focus and urgency to necessary changes in the financial system, revealing hidden truths and also promoting significant shifts. So Pluto's had a long stay in Capricorn since 2008. So it's interesting, again, as we overlay these with sort of different theories, how we see the sort of confluence between them. And it has led to major transformations and power struggles, particularly in our societal structures. So we are, of course, expecting the Pluto now transiting Aquarius to lead to profound changes in power dynamics. And this kind of energy always reminds me of this quote from Thomas Strollite. And he said that Bitcoin was not created so that some people could get rich quick. It was created to preserve the integrity of money. And so really what happened in 2008 after the financial crisis, this was like the beginning of the lack of integrity in our financial system, the lack of integrity in our money. And sort of it already lost integrity when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. But from 2008, it's really been an acceleration of the erosion of the integrity of our money. And so this is a really important aspect to consider when you're thinking about Bitcoin, because this really is Bitcoin's purpose. So it's almost like we've had that erosion, and Bitcoin was created in response to the 2008 financial crisis. And what it's come to do is to now we're in this new cycle of Pluto and Aquarius being amplified right now with this full moon on the 21st. And Bitcoin has come to restore the integrity in our financial system, because when you don't have integrity in your money, society starts to fall apart at the seams. And so Bitcoin is here to sort of restore that integrity in our money. And interestingly enough, we do have President Trump speaking at the Bitcoin conference this year. And there are a lot of rumors, and I will tell you they are rumors. I have no way to substantiate these, but there are rumors that he is going to announce a strategy integrating Bitcoin into the US reserves, basically, as a reserve asset. And this is really interesting. I mean, America is the US government is one of the largest holders of Bitcoin. I think it's over 200,000 Bitcoin that they hold, not because they purchased them, but because they were from seizures from like Silk Road and things like that. And so I wanted to have a look at the astrology for the day that Trump is speaking, which is on the 27th of July. And it's a really positive aspect. It's the transiting sun is trine Bitcoin's natal moon. So in financial astrology, the sun represents vitality, clarity, and core identity, while the moon symbolizes emotions, instincts, and the public's response. So a trine is a harmonious aspect, and it brings ease and positive energy. So when the transiting sun forms a trine with Bitcoin's natal moon, it suggests that a period of positive emotional resonance and clarity for Bitcoin. So this aspect can have significant implications for Bitcoin's price and Bitcoin's influence on the broader financial markets. So as I said, those were just rumors. Of course, I have no idea what Trump is going to speak about or RFK Jr. is going to speak about at the Bitcoin conference, but it's kind of just wild to actually even have both of them speaking, especially when you consider Trump's kind of disdain for Bitcoin only 4 years ago. So it's pretty crazy how things have shifted, but it's absolutely in line with the macro astrology. And so this sun trine Bitcoin's natal moon indicates like a smooth flow of energy between the sun and the moon, creating this favorable environment for optimism and positive sentiment around Bitcoin. So the alignment brings emotional clarity, and also brings like a confidence, like making it easier for investors to make decisions based on instinct and intuition. So we're looking at increased confidence during this period of time. The moon represents the public's emotional response, and a trine from the sun can really boost public confidence in Bitcoin, leading to increased interest and investment. So the harmonious aspect enhances Bitcoin's public image, making it appear as a more stable and attractive investment. So this also ties in with the sort of public figures, celebrities of Venus and Mercury in Leo as well. So that aligns as well positively. And so the positive sentiment and increased confidence can really lead to a rise in Bitcoin's price. Investors may feel more secure in their investments and, leading to a bullish trend. So the trine aspect really supports a sustained growth after, it's more aligned to sustained growth than to like sharp, unpredictable spikes. So it can create a much more attractive environment for like long-term investors. So it may be a dampening down of the volatility in a way. So the favorable energy can attract new investors to Bitcoin, both retail and institutional investors, with the perception of stability and potential growth. It can really draw those who were previously hesitant, which would include Donald Trump himself. We're also looking at a period of time of the media coverage being more favorable during this period, and further boosting public interest and investment in Bitcoin. And we can expect that the Bitcoin conference in Nashville is sort of the biggest Bitcoin event of the year, really. And there's always, as I said, there's always these kind of big announcements and project launches and public figures speaking and things like that. So it's a really exciting time for Bitcoin. And the astrology is really lining up with that as well. So the transiting sun trine Bitcoin's natal moon brings this period of positive energy, emotional clarity, and increased public confidence in Bitcoin. So this can lead to a rise in Bitcoin's price and just an overall more stable, positive market environment. Now, I will caution you on this. I do believe where we are, I love that we're in sort of a positive phase, but I will warn you, we do have a new moon on the 4th of August, and also coming into Mercury retrograde. So I love that this is a positive time, and I can see sort of upward price movement. But I mean, we may go up and test those all-time highs again. We may even do that during this period of time. But what I really want to see from the market is that we flip those all-time highs and we hold them confidently and move away from them in an upward direction. And I don't think that we're quite there yet. So I think that will come more towards the end of the year. And will probably align with Powell's rate cuts, because with all of the talk about the debates, the assassination, the Microsoft outage, all of these things, we forget that we are coming into a rate reducing cycle. And that's the time in the debt cycle that we're in. So interestingly enough, there was also another article that Donald Trump warned Jerome Powell. He said that he would keep him on if he becomes president, but he warned him not to reduce rates until after the election. So I'm not sure whether he'll listen to him or do that, but I'm sure it depends on a lot of other factors. But I just thought that that was quite interesting as well. So what Raoul Pal would call the banana zone, it is coming. But I just want to sort of give some reality to that I don't think we're quite there yet. I could be wrong, but I really want to see Bitcoin confidently break and hold those previous all-time highs and move away from them in an upward direction, like quite confidently with some volume behind it. So we shall see what happens. Anybody attending the Bitcoin conference, have a wonderful time. I think it's going to be, you know, quite a historic Bitcoin conference. It's very, very interesting. And I'm excited for what's to come. It's really, the astrology is just so aligned. It's so poetic, honestly, the way things are unfolding for Bitcoin. And, you know, it's really positive, not just for us to make money, but also for Bitcoin's real purpose to restore and maintain the integrity of money. And so we have so many exciting things. The future is really bright. And yeah, really looking forward to what's to come for the rest of the year. I'm sure there are going to be some crazy things. As I said, I don't think we've seen the crazy of the crazy yet. I think there's a lot more to come between now and then. So, you know, I think it's best to sort of like disengage. And, you know, I'm joking when I'm comparing world politics to a reality show, but to me, it really is one and the same. It's very much the same thing. And I think it's best to sort of emotionally disconnect, step out of the duality, and be the observer of what is going on, rather than an active participant, because we really don't have very much agency in that world. And so we're much better off channeling our energy, our emotions, and our time into things that we do have agency over. And yeah, so exciting times ahead for Bitcoin. Have a fabulous time if you're attending the conference, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Peace, love, and Bitcoin.